I don't think it's a big secret that PlayStation isn't doing very well. It doesn't even have that many exclusives. There's very little incentive for people to buy a PlayStation now, and probably even less incentive to buy it in the future, especially when if you have a medium gaming rig, a medium PC, you can play almost every single game there is, and you can even play it on high resolution now. So obviously the people at Sony are worried about this, and they're thinking about monetization. They're thinking about what they can do in order to get more money from people. And I firmly believe that one of the tactics that they want to get into is to harvest data. It's very profitable for social media companies, especially companies like Facebook, where they harvest information from their users. And then they use that information in order to either sell ads or sell it to third parties, or use it to develop AI. So this is why Sony is really interested in getting people to sign up for the PlayStation Network. And one of the things that they patented and people have talked about is that they can harvest biometrics now. They also talked about how they record audio conversations. So if you play with someone else and you're using a microphone, that is being recorded. And of course, everything is done under the left-leaning umbrella. It's for safety, it's to prevent hate speech, it's to make sure that the environment is safe, and other corporate buzzwords that it seems that a lot of people on Twitter are genuinely, unironically supporting. And this is very disgusting and vile to me, because I genuinely used to be a leftist, but the left ideology was that you as an individual, you're weak. Like you're weak. The government can just demolish you, organized religion can demolish you, big corporations can demolish you. So like if you're weak, you can gather around with other weak people and now you become powerful. Because now the companies have to respect you, that the government has to take you into account because there's a lot of you, right? So that was like what left-leaning ideology used to be. But now it seems that I see leftists with pronouns in the bio, various flags and paraphernalia, that are absolutely simping for these corporations. They are absolutely saying like, no, what Sony is doing is great. Like, why don't you just make an account? It's so simple. And I think the reason for it is because Sony is saying like, yeah, we're going to make people inclusive. Like, we are going to sanitize gaming. We're going to make sure that we crack down on gamers that have a potty mouth. We're going to regulate. We're going to moderate. And this is very appealing for the modern left-leaning Twitter user for some reason, that they are willing to go like, yeah, you know what? Clearly the company has its best intentions at mind. They're not doing this for profit. They're not doing this because they're a greedy corporation. No, I'm just going to support whatever they're saying because they're saying the stuff that I like to hear. So you see all these individuals, going around and defending Sony for their bullshit. And when the bullshit was done with Helldivers 2, you had a lot of people going, it's like, well, why is it so difficult to just make a PlayStation Network account? And there were individuals saying, well, it's not just that, but if you allow it now, it's going to be pushed in the future. So it's best if we just say, like, no, we don't want to put up with this. And they will say, well, yeah, but like you put up with other companies. And it's like, yeah, but it's getting worse. And just because we put up with it in the past doesn't mean we have to put up with it in the future. Like, when can we stop something? Like, if something bad happened in the past, and we were okay with it at the time because we didn't think it's going to get really bad, but now we're noticing that it's getting really bad, when can you jump out of the boiling pot? Like, you as the frog, when can you say, I've been sitting in this pot that was boiling for a while, but now it's getting really uncomfortable, so I just want to hop off? And you're like, well, no, you stood up until now, you should keep staying. Like, no, it doesn't work that way, right? So in the case of Sony, people accurately gave backlash and pushback because of the whole PlayStation Network thing, which, again, gets to say how bad of a PR Sony is getting, that even when something is free, people are more than willing to go way out of their way in order to make a statement. I mean, making a PlayStation Network account doesn't take as long as actually logging on Steam, going to Helldivers, giving them a negative review, going on Twitter, talking to other people, explaining why you gave the negative review, right? Like, that takes extra effort than to just make the PlayStation Network account. So it's not like gamers are lazy or anything. It's out of something that a lot of antis don't want to understand. It's called principles. Like, they genuinely do not want to make a PlayStation account. Not to mention, why on earth would you make one on a PC? Like, if you know that PlayStation is harvesting data from you, why would you trust them with the data from your PC? So that they can know what type of rig you're having, so that they can know the specs of your computer, so that they know what other games you're playing. Like, why would I even allow them to have anything remotely close to that, because again, they're willing to monetize it. That's the whole thing, right? Like they want to harvest data, like they want you to buy the game. They already get money from the purchase. They want you to buy DLC. They get money from that. And now they want extra money by monetizing your existence. No, I don't think so. So now you notice what's happening if this trend continues. Because at the time with Helldivers, many people said, well, if we don't stop them now, they're going to keep doing it. And the way things work in the corporate environment is usually people sign contracts, and they can sign contracts years or months in advance. So in the case of Ghost of Tsushima, they probably signed the contract way before the controversy. And you had one of the representatives from Ghost of Tsushima going out and saying that you will still be able to play the game, but you won't be able to access the multiplayer if you don't have a PlayStation Network account. Now, a lot of people were happy with it because, well, if you're telling me from before I make the purchase, that's different, right? Like with Helldivers, it was, most people found out after they made the purchase. But like, if you're telling me, hey, this game requires a PSN account, and, you know, you're telling people this before they bought it, then that's fine, you know? And if it's only the multiplayer, okay. But apparently, that's not necessarily correct. Apparently, people from all of those African countries, like the one that got censored, like I found that hilarious when they gave a list of countries and one of them was censored, they're not going to be able to play Ghost of Tsushima. It's no longer available in countries without a PSN, and it's being removed from the stores in those regions, even if you just want to play the single player. So this is how invasive Sony is. And I generally don't understand why they keep going at war with their own customers. Now, sure, you know, they may say, well, it's not the overwhelming customers. Like, most customers are fine with making a PSN account. Why would you even go to war with 20% of your customers? Especially in a time where studios are laying off people constantly and things are looking bad for the gaming industry. Why is it so difficult? And why do these companies absolutely resist to just make a product that everyone likes? Like, we know it's possible. They have done it in the past. It is definitely 100% available for them to make a product that makes most people happy. Yet time and time again, they just refuse. It's so bizarre, isn't it? Like, putting this level of ideological greed in front of just like making a good product that people want to buy. Or if you can't make a good product that people want to buy, make it a cheaper product. I'm willing to bet, you know, if they were doing this PSN shit and they would say, yeah, you know, our games are now going to cost $50 because with PSN, we're going to use some advertisers or something, so we're lowering the price. You may have more people on their side, but no, they're greedy as fuck, aren't they? And not only that, but this is, in my opinion, borderline illegal. Like, if you buy a product and then years later they can take it away from you, then if it's not illegal already, there should be. You know, unless, I would say, the company goes bankrupt, the servers suffer major malfunctions. Like, if something like that happens, okay. But when everything is working fine and the company just goes like, oh yeah, you need to either sign this, or we take the game away from you that you've played for all this time, or we just take it away because you can't sign it because you live in a country that we can't operate, then no, I think that should definitely be illegal. And not to mention, you know, PlayStation always talks about inclusivity, and you look at the list of countries that they decided to ban the games, a lot of them are African countries. But they care about inclusivity. They champion it. That's what they say. They champion inclusivity. Unless it cuts into their bottom profits, then they don't champion inclusivity. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.